Greetings, beautiful people. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. So focus on what is good. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Jaki Draper is here again this evening to discuss what does it mean to take care of your spirit. But before we get into that, I would like to remind you to make sure that you are keeping yourself safe and wearing your mask. If you have to wear a mask, make sure you use your hand sanitizer and make sure that you keep yourself safe and keep your family members safe. We all have to do our part. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. So please keep yourself safe. And also, I want to remind you to give to Feed America. And if you would like to give to Feed America, please give at feedamerica.org. Once again, if you would like to give to a charity, I'm suggesting that you give to Feed America, and you can give at feedamerica.org. So, Jaki, how you doing today?
Fantastic. How are you?
Well, I'm having a good day, a little hyper a little bit. I'm trying to slow down, trying to just keep my pace here, but it's a good day. How about you?
Good. I'm having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful, hot, sunny day here in Tampa Bay, and I'm having a wonderful day.
Awesome. Well, the topic I have is, what does it mean to take care of your spirit? I thought about that topic because a lot of times, most people, and this is just my opinion, many people they get dressed and they take care of the outward appearance of themselves, but sometimes they don't take care of the inward part of themselves. And so, to take care of your spirit is to work on yourself and to be mindful of who you are, what you need to be doing, and how you should be functioning. So what comes to your mind, Jaki, when you think about that statement? What does it mean to take care of your spirit?
For me, I think of my spirit as the non-physical part of me. Like you were saying, your physical part is where you get dressed, you put on your makeup, and your pretty shoes. That is your physical self, but my spiritual self is the seat of my emotions and my character.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's important that we take care of our spirit by as always, feeding ourselves something that is positive. Just like we eat food for nutrients, we need spiritual food for our spirit. And I know somebody might be asking, well, what is spiritual food? Spiritual food, to me, it is anything that pertains to life. Reading the Bible, listening to something positive, anything that has to do with life, anything that gives you life, anything that feeds you to be a better person. That is taking care of your spirit or feeding your spirit. Let me ask you this, Jaki. How do you feed your spirit? How do you take care of your spirit?
Well, to me, any activities that are going to nurture my spirit, that are going to allow me to think beyond myself.
Wow.
Basically.
That's good.
And not necessarily a religious foundation, but activities that evoke positive emotions, that build positive character.
Yeah.
Like volunteering, for instance, would be a character-building activity that's going to be a positive character-building activity.
Okay.
Meditating or practicing gratitude would be more on the nurturing your spirit side, your emotional side.
I like that. A character building activity. I like that because that will help an individual to do the work on themselves in a specific area or another to just to be a better person. Sometimes when you work on your spirit, you can identify with your own flaws. Do you believe that, Jackie?
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. Definitely building on your... I'm sorry, my brain went completely blank on the word that I was looking for. But if you're focusing on... When you're in a state where you need to focus on your spirit and try to self-nurture, you need to own your story. You need to acknowledge your role in the things that are going on, and that's going to be your foundation for whatever's going on. If you're feeling depleted, or me personally, I shouldn't say anybody, but when I'm feeling depleted, then I search myself for, how did I get myself in this position? What did I do to cause this series of events? Not necessarily everything is caused by yourself, but you have outside things. But we all play a role in our own lives and our own negligence, our own poor choices, and you self-check.
Yeah,
super important.
Yeah, exactly. Self-check is the key part of checking your spirit and checking to see what you have to do to care for your spirit or what corrections you have to make. For me, I would say that caring for your spirit can give you a sense of purpose. It can connect you to God, and also it can help you to be more sensitive to others. Do you think that? You think that's...
Absolutely. And doing things, your character building activities like volunteering and being involved with having your relationships, your children, your family members, your friends, your church, your community, different areas that you can contribute in that sense are definitely going to help you.
Yeah. Caring for your spirit is something that you have to do every single day. Some people go to church on Sundays and they only do the work on Sunday. That's real. I know some people that actually... I know people that actually do that. They just go to church and that's it. They could be a straight nutcase, the rest of the 6 days, but then on Sunday they walking like they in the holies of holies. But we have to do the work every day. Caring for your spirit has to do with doing the work on yourself every single day. The content of your spirit is who you are. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's who you are. And when you care for your spirit daily, you will partake of the benefits, especially when you pray. You can't go wrong when you pray because you are making an exchange with God when you pray. So caring for your spirit also, to me, is self-love. If you can jump in the shower and brush your teeth and care for yourself on the outside, why not care for yourself on the inside? That's self-love when you care for your spirit. Like I said, prayer and meditation and just doing the checklist with yourself daily.
Practice gratitude.
Absolutely. It's so important to do that because we're all getting older. And also when you care for your spirit, by feeding yourself, whether it be, like I said, the Bible, reading the Bible, or positive affirmations, or listening to something that's edifying. Also, when you care for your spirit, you are actually building yourself up for unexpected events or something in your life you could go through. You are actually building yourself up for that moment. It's almost like an umbrella. God is our sustainer, but when you build yourself up, you are building yourself up for a rainy day. Do you believe that, Jackie?
Absolutely. Has there ever ever been a time in your life when you really felt depleted, when you had this epiphany, I really need to work on my spirit? I know I've felt that way. Have you ever felt that way?
Yeah, I felt that way. There was a time in my life where I just, lived for the party. I was just having a good time, traveling, just, doing my thing. And I wasn't really focused, so to speak. And so when circumstances and situations came about, I wasn't prepared. I mean, I'm not saying that you could be prepared for anything that happens, but what I'm saying is when you build yourself up, when something happens, you have a level of fortification in your spirit because you've been caring for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You won't be spiritually bankrupt. Some people are walking around actually spiritually bankrupt. I'm
going to go out on the limb and say a lot of people are walking around spiritually bankrupt.
Yeah, that's real.
And I think that, and because you've been in that position as well, when, for me personally, a couple of years ago, I had a series of unfortunate events. And, singly, these events, you can manage them through your life, and you're fine, and you don't even notice them. You just go about your life, and everything's fine. But when you do, and throughout our lives, I'm 51 years old, I've had many periods where I've had to deal with a series of unfortunate events. But when they do happen back to back, you become spiritually depleted because you're trying to live your life, and then these things happen, and before you know it, you wake up one day. It's not even a conscious decision. You just wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, I feel like crap. I feel depleted. I feel, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden now I need to pay attention to how do I correct this? How do I fix this in my life without, there's a difference in being like a depressed person. I'm not talking about depression by any stretch of the word.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about your own personal depletion of, I'm exhausted from my own life.
Well, that's why I'm talking about this topic. That's why we are talking about this topic, because let me explain this. When this was many, 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 many years ago. I want to make sure you get that, you understand that, listeners. When I was, distracted and not focused on the things that were important, I always knew how to pray. I always knew how to care for my spirit because that's what I was taught as a young child. But the key thing is this. When you are caring for your spirit daily, and when life happens, what happens is all you do or will do is shift gears into the place of submission to God, which is the place that you're already in, because you are caring for your spirit daily. So when something happens, I use the word shift, because you're living your life, but when you shift into that place, you don't have to find how to get there. You know how to get there. You understand what I'm saying? So,
yes.
So when you care for your spirit each day, you're not trying to catch up when something happens. You won't get to that place of depletion because you live full. Think about a cup. When a cup is full and it starts to run over, then you have something to give someone else. But if your cup is not full every day because you're not pouring something in it, when something happens, guess what? You have nothing to draw from. So when you use the word depletion, that's what I was saying. And I used to tell myself, no, I will never get to the place of being empty, because I believe that God doesn't want us to walk around empty. He wants us to walk around full of life, full of peace, full of love, full of joy, full of everything that pertains to life. So when we care for our spirit daily, Don't wait till something happened and then try to catch up. I'm not saying,
Right.
you shouldn't seek God or you shouldn't try to catch up. Yeah, you can catch up. But what I'm saying is live a life where you are caring for your spirit every single day. Just like you drink,
Absolutely.
just like you drink water, just like you get something to eat because your body tells you you're hungry. Guess what? Your spirit is hungry too. So make sure that you think about that every single day, that you have to feed your spirit. I cannot go a day without prayer or a day without doing something to feed or care for my spirit, because your spirit is living and you don't want your spirit to be malnourished.
Right.
When you miss a meal, that doesn't feel good, does it?
Right.
So when when your spirit is empty and when life happens, then guess what? It's that same feeling. It doesn't feel good. So what I'm
What
saying
is
is,
your number one go-to for your self-care, for your spiritual care? What is your number one thing that you do?
the number one thing that I do every single day, all day long, is I walk with a focus on God. So, everything in my life, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I gotta say that because some people get it mixed up. I walk throughout my day with a focus on God, because when I walk that way, I have peace. I feel better about myself. I feel better about life. And when I walk through my day with that type of focus, when something happens, I'm already in position. I'm already in position to pray. I'm already in position to just talk to him about anything. I'm already in a position to do whatever it is I need to do to get through whatever it is I'm going through. When I was in my 20s, like I was saying earlier, I was somewhat distracted and I wasn't always walking around full. I wasn't always walking around with a full cup. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't walking around feeding myself spiritually the way I feed myself now. Now I walk with a focus on God, and that focus gives me everything that I need to be alert, aware, and totally conscious about life. If we're just living our lives, getting up in the morning, getting dressed and just running, and we have no focus and we're just distracted and we just going to and fro all day long, every day, all day, guess what? That's not caring for our spirit.
Right.
You can live your life having a good time doing whatever it is you do, but at some point during the day, you have to take a moment to care for your spirit. Now, we're all different, and what I do may not work for somebody else, but what I do, it works for me because I like to keep an awareness of God. So what do you do?
My number one thing is I practice gratitude. I am almost afraid to not be grateful for the things that I do have. And I find myself that I definitely never feel sorry for myself. I always know that things could be worse. I'm always grateful for everything that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it could be equated to praying.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I go through the traditional praying,
Mm-hmm.
but I am a very spiritual person. I'm Catholic. I believe in God and I believe in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
However, my daily practice is not an official prayer. Mine is practicing gratitude and my gratitude journaling and meditating. And I run, and right now my knees are having a problem, so I've been walking.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to listen to, when I'm in a mode where I really need to focus on something specific, I like to listen to orchestra music because it doesn't have lyrics. And so it's a sense of the rhythm of the running and the rhythm of the music and the fresh air gives me a meditative state when I'm running. So those are things in combination that I do together. That's my number one go-to.
Yeah.
When something's bad, I put on my tennis shoes and head outside.
Well, that's good too. You know, my brother, he does that. He runs a lot, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Prayer doesn't always mean that you are in a certain position either. You could be walking around or driving down the street. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for me, I can be doing anything throughout the day, and all of a sudden I could be walking around the house, and all of a sudden I just start talking to God. I just pray. And I'm not on my knees or anything like that, but I just talk to him all day long. And yes, I do keep a spirit of gratitude, but that focus that I keep, it does it for me, because I just think that when you're not focused and you're just distracted, when things happen, you're just caught off guard, and then you put yourself in a position where you don't know what to do, and then sometimes you can become frustrated about something, or worry could try to tackle you. All kind of things can happen when you're not focused. So having a focus, to me, is a way to care for your spirit, because if you're focused on something, you focus on God first and foremost, you're going to have a sense of purpose. It improves your emotional state. You will be sensitive to others. You'll be connected to others to feel what they're going through if you have to help them or something like that. Also, as I stated earlier, it's a form of self-love when we care for our spirit. I just think that we have to look inward. We have to go inward. We have to care for ourselves in that manner, because our spirit is valuable. Our spirit is very, very valuable. When you care for your spirit, you are making an investment in yourself to be an asset to someone else. So, caring for your spirit is an investment. Don't forget that. I mean, we can receive so many benefits when we care for our spirit. Building yourself up and basically preparing for a rainy day. I'm not saying project anything negative, so don't get this twisted. But what I'm saying is, even Jesus said, he talked about a man building his house on a rock, right? He talked about the houses and what a man can build their house with. And when the storms came, one house stood up and one house was blown down. So we need to ask ourselves the question, what are we building our house with? Are we building our house with the distractions of this crazy world? Or are we building our house with the things that can sustain us? So that's the question we need to ask ourselves. And so that is why I try to keep a focus on God in everything that pertains to life, because it just helps me to maintain a focus. It's so important. When the few times, unfortunately, this year when I got bad news, I just went right in there to pray. Just in my mind, I just went right to it. It wasn't no emotional breakdown or anything like that. Thank you, God. But I just went straight into that place in my mind and my spirit, and I just prayed. When something is going on that might be uncomfortable, I'm reminded to pray. I'm reminded to have the right response, because I try to stay focused. And so all of those things, when you care for your spirit, all those things I mentioned are benefits. You have a sense of purpose. You can be more connected to others. It can help your emotional state. You position yourself to grow and learn about God. And it is also self-love. So, Jackie, can you think of a time in your life where you knew you had to do something different to care for your spirit?
Well, you were talking about purpose just a second ago, and it reminded me of a time in my life when I really felt like I had no purpose. Like I was, what do I do next? Like, maybe you're changing careers or your kids are growing up, and you're, what once was your focus now is not. So you're having to regroup and figure out, and definitely that in the different stages of my life where I felt like, okay, this was my purpose, now what is it? The journey of trying to find my purpose has been moments in my life where I felt I really had to rebuild things, had to really discover myself, search in my own story and find who am I and what do I want to do and where do I want to go and how do I move forward from this moment.
Yeah.
How do you move forward when you have a moment in your life where you're changing lanes or changing direction even completely, not just lanes, but complete different direction? How do you find a new purpose?
First I try to, first I pray, and then I try to meditate on what I want to happen versus what I don't want to happen. And I get direction, I believe that when you pray, you can get direction, because sometimes we don't know what to do. I was trying to make a decision about whether or not I wanted to go back to school. And when I prayed about it, I had a peace, and so that let me know, okay, yeah, I can go back, because timing is everything. But to answer your question, I just pray, and then I know what I need to do. I journal. I write a lot of notes to myself, and I go inward to decide what makes me happy. When I started this podcast, I wasn't sure about it. And so I kind of wrestled with it a little bit. And I was like, no, I shouldn't. I kept going back and forth. And then all of a sudden I just said, forget it. And I just did it without even thinking about it. So when I want to do something and I know there's a change coming, I normally pray, I journal, and then I receive the direction that I need to receive. And that direction gives me peace. And then I take the steps that I need to take. But prayer is the key thing for me. I don't do anything without praying, because I just believe that God is a supernatural person. He's above us. He's greater than us. And I just think that, sometimes we think we know everything. We think we've accomplished a lot of things because of our achievements. But in actuality, there's nothing greater than God. And so when we take a moment to acknowledge him and to get a forecast on what we should and should not do, then we can know for sure that we're supposed to be doing the thing we should be doing. You don't want to do something and then just waste your time. I was listening to, I think it was Oprah Winfrey earlier, and she says something like, people do things and they waste their time doing it because it was something they wasn't supposed to be doing, but they kept forcing it. That's not exactly what she said, but I'm paraphrasing. In other words, people, when you're not supposed to be doing something, stop. Don't force it. But sometimes, even when you're not supposed to be doing something, some people, they try to force it. And they forcing it, and then they waste their time. And they end up failing. You know what I'm saying? So the point in all of what I'm saying is, When we pray and we get direction, we know what we should be doing. We know what direction to go. We know what can give us joy, because God knows our heart. He knows what gives us joy. He made us all, and,
yeah.
That
That reminds me of when I was trying to make a decision about something, and I'm Catholic, and I talked to a priest about it, and I didn't, I was like, I don't know if this is the right choice, for my family, for me. I'm not sure, what direction to go in, and he said, just go home and pray about it, talk to God about it, and then make the choice that is your gut feeling, and the moment that you feel peace about it, that is God telling you that you've made the right choice.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So when you said you pray about it and then you feel peace, I was like, yeah, I have had that exact same feeling.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to care for your spirit, because when you care for your spirit daily, it makes you sensitive to God. It makes you sensitive to what your spirit needs every single day. And so if you are in that type of situation where you need direction, or you're trying to get answers for something, if you're not caring for your spirit every day, guess what? The clarity and the direction, it may not come to you so easily, because that person that's not caring for their spirit may not even be sensitive to it. Because God is not going to speak on a bullhorn. Okay, he's not, he's not going to do that. But when you are caring for your spirit, you are sensitive to God. You are positioning yourself to learn about him and to learn about yourself spiritually.
Right. I talk about with my friends that I'm in tune with my universe. The universe talks to me all the time, puts me. Now, there are many times when the universe says XYZ, and I look at the universe and say, you know what, I'm not ready for XYZ. But the universe will squeeze you and make you feel super uncomfortable until you finally say, okay, you're right. I'm going on with XYZ. Because, like you were saying, people are wasting their time doing what they're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you know when you're doing what you're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe is going to make you extremely uncomfortable and put you in a position to where you have to escape that position, because it's not right for you. The universe will tell you over and over and over and over again, get out, until you finally get out.
Exactly. And that is why it's so important to care. We have to care for our spirit, because when we do that every single day, whatever it is you do, whether it is if you pray or meditate or read the Bible or whatever it is you read, when you fill yourself up with content that is spiritual, content that can build you up, what happens is, like I said earlier, it makes you sensitive to God. It helps you to connect with others. It improves your emotional state. It positions you to learn about yourself and learn about God. And it's also, as I stated, it is self-love. And so that's why it is so important to care for your spirit. We can't just live life based upon all the external things that's going on. We can't, because everything that's going on externally cannot benefit you internally. Internally, your spirit has to be filled with everything that pertains to living and life and God. Everything that you fill yourself with has to pertain to everything that has to do with living. Everything. If you don't do that, then you position yourself for something negative. And I hate to say it like that, but I'm just keeping it real by saying that. Because you can go get plastic surgery, you can go buy the nicest suit, dress, you can go get your hair done, your nails. Guess what? That's not doing anything for your spirit pertaining to building yourself up when it comes to the content of your spirit. Yes, when you care for yourself on the outside, all those things make us feel good. Yeah. Doing our hair and our makeup and our clothes and going shopping, all that stuff. It makes us feel good for the moment. But when something happens in your life, what will you draw from in your spirit? If you never feed your spirit, when life happens, what will you draw from? Ask yourself that question. I'm asking myself that question because if I go out and buy 10 handbags and 4 cars, that's not going to help me when something happens in my life.
Right.
A car, a house, that's not going to help me. What's going to help me is what's in my spirit. Because God, He's with all of us. He wants to be with all of us. Closer, nearer. And so when we build ourselves up with everything that pertains to life, when life happens, then we have something to draw from within our spirit. Do you believe that?
Absolutely.
You paused on me for a second now. I say, wait a minute.
I'm just listening to you. I mean, we're just sitting here having this conversation. I'm literally laying in bed talking to you, having this conversation. But honestly, it's definitely what you're drawing on. But there's other things I have to pull on. I wonder what you think about this. Also, though, is you have to have self-care for your physical body as well.
Yes,
because
you do.
I know for me personally, when I'm eating garbage food, those type of things are they affect your mental health. And your mental health is associated with your spirit.
That's true.
Your emotional health, and I personally feel like that's part of why I enjoy running. Is it gets your endorphins going. It produces chemicals in your body that make you feel better.
Yes.
And whenever you do that, you can think more clearly, and you can make better choices, and you can be more in tune with yourself and with God and the universe. I use the universe, but with all of everything that is part of the world. But I think it's important to definitely take care of your body and your physical sense as well.
Yeah, that does play a part in your spirit as well, because when you care for yourself in that order, it will make a deposit in your spirit. And what I mean by that is, it is something like you said, you mentioned endorphins. It will make you feel good about yourself. It builds confidence. It makes you have joy and happiness, and it gives you a sense of security and peace. And absolutely, I agree with that 100%, and again, that's self-love. So that ties into caring for your spirit. Absolutely. Yeah, I look at it like that as well, because I'm on this serious, strict regimen for my diet, and I'm just trying to do better, and so absolutely, I believe that. I was telling a friend of mine, when you look at your plate, and you can look at your plate and see life on your plate. If everything is nice and colorful and beautiful on your plate, if you don't have a stick of butter and some grease on your plate, guess what? And that means it will be life on your plate.
Sometimes you can look at a meal and it just makes you feel bad looking at it.
That's right. That's right. But if you look at some food, let's keep it real. Some food don't look like life. Some food look like something else. Some food look like disease, right? It might taste good, but it is what it is. But, caring for your spirit, as I stated, caring for your spirit, is all of the things that we mentioned. It improves your emotional state. It positions you to learn about yourself and God. Caring for your spirit is self-love. And as Jackie mentioned, it can also pertain to, how you care for yourself when you eat. So all of those things.
And your character, you're volunteering, you're being a friend and working in nature with animals and, and outside caring for, like, even if you're a garden, some people garden and stuff like that.
Being in tune with life, caring for your spirit, because, all this mess that's around us, it wants to tear us down. Life, things happening every day or every other day or whenever, whether it be something on the news or whatever. I mean, guess what? We need to make sure that we care for our spirit. So this topic, what does it mean to care for your spirit? All the things we mentioned, that's what it's about. And I'm sure you listeners, you have something else to add to this. And guess what? Add it on when it comes to caring for your spirit, because we got to live. And if you want to live well, then caring for your spirit is part of it. So, Jackie, is there anything else you want to share?
No, but actually I would like if people can leave a comment on what they do to care for their spirit. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Some other ideas.
Absolutely. That would be great, because I'm always open to learn more from others. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, absolutely. So, listeners, I thank you for tuning in to listen to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. I appreciate you. If you share the podcast with others, let me know. Leave me some feedback. I also have a YouTube channel, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. If you would like to donate to the podcast, you can donate at Cash App $SB Favor. And as I stated, I appreciate you, and please share the podcast with others and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So, listeners, we thank you for taking time out to tune in. And Jackie, we got to prepare for our next topic. What you say?
All right, sounds like fun. I always have a great time talking to you. I feel like we're all over the place, but it's fun. I have a good time. This is great.
Well, everything we mentioned, it's all according to what we all should do to care for our spirit. We talked about a little bit of everything. It's one big bowl with a lot of ingredients. That's all it is.
Yes,
so,
spirit salad over here.
It's spirit salad. There you go. So, listeners, make sure that you, if you go to the YouTube channel, make sure that you click like and click the bell. Because if you do that, then you will receive a notification each time there's a new episode of SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. So, anyway, thank you again for listening, and you have a good day.